Hello friends, hope you have been well. Welcome to 2021 and a new season of What Can Go Wrong, More Than Likely Will Go Wrong, weekly on Channel 4. This begs the question, will this year suck, or is the calendar an arbitrary thing and this day is the same as the day before until you have to pay rent, then it's a different day? Well, we don't know quite yet. Only these arbitrary 24-hour periods will tell. It has been only a few days and already there has been some drama in the new year. Of course, the human malware has not been solved. That's still going on in this year. So I guess, do the numbers change? Do they actually mean anything? Well, our states are closing down, and again, there are a few cyber attacks happening left, right, and center, and even some deep fakes of the Queen are, well, they were last year, but they're happening more this year. Anyway, deepfakes is a thing. Now in the tech world, the news seemed to take a much needed break this week, and so it has been quiet, but expect it to ramp up over the coming weeks. But that means in today's special episode of The Dirt Report, we look back at 2020 and its 8 biggest tech-related shenanigans. Make sure to like this video if you did and subscribe to support us and see much more tech videos like this. Let's roll the intro. Now, my number one is a bit of a funny one because deepfakes have been around for quite a while, but the year of 2019 and 2020 mainly have led it to a point where it's so real. It's so amazing. So what's a deepfake? Deepfakes are a synthetic media in which a person is in an existing image or video is then replaced with someone else's likeness. While the act of faking content is not new, like I mentioned, deepfakes leverage powerful techniques from machine learning and artificial intelligence to manipulate or generate visual and audio content with a high potential to deceive. So fake news all over again, I suppose. The main machine learning methods used to create deepfakes are based on deep learning and involve training generative neural networks architecture such as autoencoders or generative adversarial networks. Now, deepfakes have garnered widespread attention for the uses in celebrity pornographic videos, revenge porn, fake news, hoaxes, and financial fraud. This has elicited responses from both industry and governments to detect and limit their use. And then Channel 4 shows a deepfake of the Queen addressing the nation, not liking the Canadians. And that's why I think deepfakes of 2020 was a big major thing. Now, this list isn't in any particular order, but it might go down to some big ones. Let's jump to number 2, the Twitter hack. On July 15th, 2020, between 8 o'clock at night and 10 o'clock at night, reportedly 130 high-profile Twitter accounts were compromised by outside parties to promote a Bitcoin scam. Now, Twitter and other media sources confirmed that the perpetrators had gained access to Twitter's administrative tools so they could alter the accounts themselves and post the tweets directly. They appeared to have used social engineering to gain access to the tools via Twitter employees. Now, 3 individuals were arrested by authorities on July 31st, 2020 and charged with wire fraud, money laundering, identity theft, and unauthorized computer access related to the scam. Now, the scam tweets asked individuals to send Bitcoin currency to a specific cryptocurrency wallet with the premise of the Twitter user that money sent would be doubled and returned as a charitable gesture. Now, a lot of people fell. Now, within minutes from the initial tweets, more than 320 transactions had already taken place on one of the wallet addresses, and Bitcoin to a value of more than $110,000 US. And that had been deposited into one account before the scam messages were removed by Twitter. In addition, full message history data from 8 non-verified accounts was also acquired. Now, Dmitry Alperovich, the co-founder of cybersecurity company CrowdStrike, described the incident as the worst hack of a major social media platform yet. And 2021 is only getting started. Now, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, some may know them as the FBI, and other law enforcement agencies are investigating the scam and the security used by Twitter. Now, security researchers expressed concern that the social engineering used to execute the hack had affected the use of social media in important online discussions, including the lead up into the 2020 United States presidential election. Fake news or not? Number 3 is my personal favorite, the Cyberpunk 2077 controversy and the likelihood of a bit of a scam. Now, basically, let's start with the first premise. The game looked great on paper and actually on video. We had trailers, we had amazing things shown about the game. However, all those things that were shown were PC review products only, and so the console version of the game didn't get sent out to reviewers and therefore never got reviewed. Now, the console version worked so badly that refunds were given. It was laggy, it was crashy, it was everything bad, and the game didn't play very well. Now, it's still very buggy on the PC version, but it's just not as bad, and that was seen as a bit of a scam by CD Projekt Red not letting reviewers actually review the console version. Maybe they were hoping to fix the game by release, or maybe it was just there to make money. Now, they have offered refunds, and refunds have caused the game to sell less numbers, but we'll get to that in a moment. The other controversy was seizures. A few days prior to the game's launch, Game Informer associate editor Lenia Rupert published a detailed warning to epileptic users about Cyberpunk 2077, explaining that she had experienced a grand mal seizure while playing the pre-release version of the game. Now, CD Projekt Red tweeted that meaningful fixes were in development to make the game safe, and the company contacted Rupert, and both parties helped develop a modified animation which can now be found in the game. And of course, a seizure warning is now shown at the start of the game as well. The whole point of Cyberpunk is how bad corporations are and how far they will go to sell you stuff and use anything in their power, from identity politics to whatever you might imagine. They will use it to sell you more products. Nonetheless, Cyberpunk sold over 13 million copies, which also included the refunds. So if not for that, many more millions would have been sold. There is a new DLC slated for 2021, and we shall see how they repair the game in the future. Next up, number 4, and these are a couple of NBA & Co highlights that I've just found over the last year that every single video that I've put about that topic just got a lot of views, and I thought, well, that means it's quite important, right? Because a lot of people saw it. So 4 things in number 4. NBA & Co removed the 100 down 40 up plans, and that is terrible. However, RSPs have been offering this plan at a much higher price, at about $10 more than it used to be, and that was pretty terrible, because the upload speed is very important, especially to me for now, because I'm uploading these videos and it takes a long time. Now, next one up is that NBA & Co bought a lot more copper. So obviously, NBA & Co has now upgraded and decided to upgrade fiber to the node connections, but instead they still bought more copper, which makes no sense at all. And the difference between it was months between the both announcements. That's why the third one there is the actual upgrades to the fiber to the node. And the fact is that we've been waiting for this announcement for a long time, and even before this was announced, nobody even said that the actual NBN was completed. And I didn't want to include this in this list because that's a bit of a joke. It's not completed because they're still upgrading everybody to fiber to the premises, and it's unlikely that will happen anytime soon. So to me, it's still not done. Finally, the fourth of the fourth is that NBN quote's coming up, and you being able to click and get a quote for an upgrade, and then it disappearing days later because it didn't work very well. Thank you very much, NBN Co. Let's move on to number 5. The PlayStation 5 and Xbox release. These were massive, and the problem was that you couldn't really get a console at all. So both sold around 3 million. I believe the PS5 has sold a little bit more at 3.37 million consoles, and continuously selling them right now. So we won't know the real numbers until it all comes to fruition, because hey, you can't get any stock, but we'll come back to that in a moment. Number 6, and that's the COVID apps. Google, Apple, Australia COVID Safe, Safe WA, Singapore, all these countries have created apps that you'll be able to tag on, or maybe you're near somebody who has had COVID, they will let you know. These apps were massive. Lots of people were thinking that it's gonna be a lot of control, a lot of spying on people, you know, the government controlling everything you do. What it ended up being is a bit of a failure, especially COVID Safe. I don't think the numbers did enough for it to succeed from what I've seen so far. It's a real shame because it could have helped, and it's kind of disappeared now. A lot of people have it on their phones, but it didn't work very well on iPhones because it couldn't work in the background because Apple. And of course, the one app that I think has worked really well, and anyway, because I'm in Western Australia, the Safe WA app, it's non-compulsory. You can just tag in. It's really easy to use. When you go to a restaurant or a pub, you can tag in and out, and that really helps because just in case somebody was there, and you have the personal responsibility to notify people who have been exposed, and if you've been in the area, you were able to be notified, and therefore you should be able to self-quarantine to not get anybody else sick. and destroy Christmas travel plans for people. Number 7, 5G causing COVID in China getting derailed. There was a big story of 2020. It's been going on for a few years, but a lot of big things happened during the 2020s. You see, concerns over Chinese involvement in 5G wireless networks stems from allegations that cellular network equipment sourced from Chinese vendors may contain backdoors enabling surveillance by the Chinese government as part of its intelligence activity internationally. Not that other countries don't spy on each other, but China's the bad one, right? And Chinese laws such as the China Internet Security Law, which compel companies and individuals to assist the state intelligence agencies on the collection of information whether requested. That's the big one. Now, the allegations came against the backdrop of the rising prominence of Chinese telecommunications vendors, Huawei and ZTE, in the 5G equipment market, and the controversy has led to other countries debating whether Chinese vendors should be allowed to participate in 5G deployments. And so far, a lot of countries have basically banned Huawei equipment. Now, 4 members of the Five Eyes International Agency alliances, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the US, have declared the use of Huawei technology equipment, particularly in the 5G networks, poses significant security risks. While Canada is carrying out its own security review, the United States, Australia, and Vietnam have banned Chinese companies from providing its 5G equipment due to security concerns. The United Kingdom has also banned the equipment, and Japan has heavily discouraged the use of Chinese equipment. Number 8. Now, this is a big one for me. I love gadgets, I love tech, and I love reviewing them. And if you want to see reviews of tech, make sure to subscribe. But the problem is that this year has been the hardest year to get anything to buy. People had lots of money because people couldn't travel, and therefore decided to buy things. And most of those things ended up being tech things because a lot of tech companies were releasing some really cool stuff this year, and everything was sold out. The RTX 3080, Nvidia's flagship card, is basically out in the wild, but not really being seen like the Tasmanian devil. It's unfortunately stuck in a land of limbo. People are buying 3070s, 3090s, but the 3080 is nowhere to be found. And slowly but surely there is stock trickling in. Good luck buying a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox X. Those are two also out of stock, and unfortunately they're getting scalped by scalpers all over the internet at prices that are almost double, which is incredible. And of course, there are issues in delivery, things are delayed. Now, the problem of the tech being sold out isn't actually the biggest thing. People still got what they wanted just sometime later. The problem was the scalpers, bots buying out thousands of products and then selling them at a premium, making millions of dollars of that. Lots of people got very rich out of the COVID event, and a lot of people got very rich out of making sure other people can't buy stuff. And on that bomb side of a year, we have to end this episode. Make sure to tune into the Dirt Report next week for weekly tech and telco news from around Australia. You can do that by tapping the subscribe button. And of course, if you like this video, then make sure to smash the like button. I hope you enjoyed this special episode of the Dirt Report, and sort of like a start of the year, but a look back, a review of 2020, of my thoughts about the tech things that really happened. And I know there's a lot of other things. So let me know below your biggest tech item, gadget, event of 2020. I'd love to know what you guys think. I'll chat to you below in the comments. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in another video. Thanks and bye!